Alright, so good evening. Of course, my name is David Kerr. I'm going to talk to you about the comparison of synchronous, asynchronous, and face-to-face learning. Of course, the first step is to know the difference. Assuming most persons would know the definition of the initial word prior to learning, we break down the idea that synchronous learning in an e-learning environment is at the same time via video, web connect, telephone, television, or any number of other sources. There should also be available some means of feedback and questioning capability, though there are times where synchronous may not have that, tech issues or whatever. Asynchronous simply implies that the learning occurs at different times, not all together, at the student's leisure or as the schedule permits. Of course, face-to-face is the basic classroom environment. The teacher's there, the students are sitting at desks, raising their hands, having to fight with their buddies beside them to have a moment, whatever. Now, all three have their basic advantages and disadvantages, and when comparing with the others, one can easily seem better than the other, or at least until you change subjects or students or even teachers. Any variable can modify the potential experience. In fact, Hollis and Phipps, referenced in my post, I'll put the actual reference in there, stated this best. Both synchronous and asynchronous modes can be viable for meaningful conversations, e.g. support, reflection, provided students are given experience using each mode. Each mode has particular affordances. Asynchronous environments may be more convenient and linear, but participants may spend more time establishing their presence with participatory contributions. Synchronous environments may support interactive negotiation of meaning, but participants initially may find conversations difficult to follow and more prone to technical difficulties. So then, what are the advantages that can be pointed out? Well, synchronous, it's in your face. I can ask a question now. Learning is live. The interaction is real. How is this potentially non-advantageous? Well, personally, synchronous learning would pose too much room for ego to get in the way. There's going to be a lot of A-type personalities that will get in there and just like dominate the entire thing. You can set ground rules, but rules are meant to be broken, and they'll only carry as far as people will allow them to actually be held down, nailed down, supported. And then you have the scheduling, having the time to sit at a specific hour while everything else still has to be done. Now, for a student, for a child, they normally are going to have a set block of instruction, but what if the child's sick that day? Maybe, they had an appointment, maybe their network was down. They can watch the video later, but they lose out on some of that interaction. Asynchronous learning, on the other hand, it requires that the student have input based around the minimal course requirements. There's less opportunity to hog the conversations. The shy may actually be more apt to participate. Yeah, there's going to be some participation that's based solely around, hey, my name is David, but that's going to carry on. You're going to have some people that they are only going to do the bare minimum, and then others are going to be in there. Then still going to out and out like essentially hog the learning environment if it was like presented on a live feature. But the point of asynchronous learning is, if I find a post that's like 19 paragraphs long, maybe I can read that one later. So I mean, there's things that can be mitigated in asynchronous to compensate for other areas. There's less risk of tech issues preventing the learning because they can always come back later. You're still going to get presented the same material in the same manner as anyone else. If my computer's broken, I can still get to it later. Ooh, but later. Now later's the problem, right? I mean, who actually has the motivation to personally sit down and take their time to do the courses? They have a weekend, don't they? Right? I mean, you allow a school-age kid to do this, and what's going to happen, right? Well, and face-to-face, of course, it's not covered in the document that's referenced in this post, but it's got the interpersonal advantages and disadvantages. You'll be able to read more accurately the individual's expressions if they're perplexed. You can identify the individuals from a teacher standpoint. Hey, this person's shy. Maybe I need to interact with them more. Maybe they just don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to ask them and see if they're actually kind of understanding this. There's not flexibility of location. You're in that classroom at that desk, and that's it. You don't have the flexibility of time that asynchronous has, or even synchronous. If I happen to have an appointment and I would watch a postponed synchronous, or I get to watch video. You don't have that. If I miss school because of an appointment, I miss it. Period. In a sentence. You're going to have the interactions when the teacher can get around to you. You will do your assignment, and perhaps the teacher will help you right then, or maybe it'll be an aid. There's a lot of variables that come into the face-to-face, but the convenience standpoint, the ability to spread out the learning, that's just not there with that.